Number 18 on our Cache Valley Media Group's list of top 25 Aggies is cornerback Andre Grayson. Grayson wears number 21. He has been a starter in his Utah State career, but last year played off the bench in every single game and missed just one last year on the season. So he's always been a guy who's been around the football from the secondary. Last year, his stats kind of show that. He ended up as the 13th leading tackler on the team with a total of 30 tackles. He had 3 tackles for a loss and 1 sack, plus he also broke up 3 passes. Andre Grayson came to Utah State from Rancho Cucamonga, California at Amano High School, where he was an all-baseline player as a defensive back, redshirted his first year here, able to play 12 games in his freshman season, and then played all 13 games before the COVID year, played 4, and then got back into most of the games last year. So, number 18 on the list, Andre Grayson.
Andre Grayson at number 18. Look, that's an experienced secondary this year for Utah State. I mean, earlier we were talking about the experience and depth of the offensive line. Utah State has a lot of experience and depth in its secondary this year, and Andre Grayson, absolutely a part of that.
Yeah, and a lot of guys who have been here at Utah State for several years. Other places, they're kind of inundated with transfers, like wide receivers full of guys who haven't even been here until this spring. But yeah, at corner, it's like all experienced Aggies, been here for 2 or 3 years. You know, Grayson's been here for like 4 years. So, yeah, lots of experience, like you said. And it can be a little iffy, you know, when they're Utah State recruits, they're not always as athletic or big. But you do value that experience. And sometimes at corner, that experience can be more valuable than size. Because that's, you know, when you're playing in the corner, you know, in the secondary, you got to be smart. And you got to know what you're doing. Because blown coverages lose games.
They are on an island. And they have to make quick decisions, have to respond quickly, and understand a lot of the movement that's going on, before the pre-snap and all of that. So because it's going to be coming their way, and there's a lot they have to do. Grayson had a great freshman year in 2019. He really exploded on the scene. 47 tackles. 32 solo, 15 assists. He did a lot of things. He had a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 6 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. Took a little bit of a step back in 20, but in this last year, still had an impact in that secondary. And I'm looking for him to continue that development because Utah State really is a development program. Unless you're a transfer who's coming in already with experience and somebody else has put time and energy into developing you, Andre Grayson is one of those guys you talked about, homegrown, developed through the system, getting experience, and improving his skill level. And I look forward to what he can do among a lot of other really experienced guys in that cornerback group that Utah State has.
Yeah, and I had him a little higher than 18. I think mostly because I figured he might be one of the starters. He might not be, as Johnny Carter may end up getting that second starting spot. I forgot the name of the other guy.
Xavier Steele, Michael Onwanyu, or other guys that are in the mix.
Yeah, they're all kind of in that mix. So Grayson may not be an outright starter, but he's definitely going to get a lot of time. He's going to be a mainstay. You know, with being experienced, you know, they're going to rely on him a lot. And the secondary has been kind of an iffy spot for Utah State for a while. A lot of times they've given up big passing games to good quarterbacks, and they've had a hard time shutting down anybody other than like the incompetent in terms of passing. So when you get those experienced guys and you get, you know, they return all the coaches, so they're playing in the same system again finally, maybe that'll help shore up some of the issues they've had in the secondary, which, you know, has a knock-on effect on the front seven. You know, anytime you have an elite unit, you know, they feed off of each other. A great front seven helps out a secondary. A great secondary helps out the front seven, and they just end up making each other better.
Absolutely true. Yeah, those guys in the secondary, especially on the corners, they have to have a big ego. Right? They have to have that confidence that they can go one-on-one because they're usually going to be undersized. They have to go up against bigger players, have to be able to make adjustments quicker. But what I like about Andre Grayson is that he's versatile too. Like, he can not only defend a wide receiver on a long out route, but he can also come up in pass coverage and pressure the quarterback. He's shown his ability to do that. He's had sacks. He's had tackles for loss. He can come off that corner blitz and be somebody that can surprise an offense that may not be paying that close attention to someone who's 5'8" out on the corner.
Yeah, that's big because that's a big part of Utah State's offense is getting upfield and attacking the backfield. They do a lot with their defensive linemen, but corners can play a big part. And like I said, just being surprised, like the quarterback drops back and all of a sudden there's a corner sprinting at him. And that can be hard for a quarterback to get away from because the corner's obviously a little faster than those lumbering defensive linemen.
Yes. So number 18 on our list of top 25 Aggies, cornerback Andre Grayson.